evening. It's the evening of our seventh day of Let's Make a Sourdough Starter. And let's have a look. I want to show you how my sourdough starters are looking. If you are having trouble with your sourdough starter at this point, I feel like sourdough starter is a tongue twister, and I always say dough kind of funny. So it's hilarious. Anyway, if you're having some trouble getting your sourdough starter going, don't worry. I am too, especially if you are in a cold climate. I had a really hard time with my first one when I first made it. I thought for sure it wasn't going well. This was years ago now. And I was like, maybe I should give up, but I didn't. I pressed forward, and it actually took 15 days before it became really active and doubled in size within 4 hours. So it can happen, and I think it's pretty normal if you're in a cold climate especially. So let's have a look at mine and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to just do my theory that I told you all about before. Looking at our regular sourdough starter, it is lagging behind. It's still active and it smells really good. It smells almost sweet. It doesn't smell bad or like stinky socks or things like and boys' locker room or anything like some people say. It doesn't, and mine never did because I used the pineapple juice. Because it's a little slow, I'm just going to do what I did with the brown rice starter. I'm thinking, all right, use my intuition. Let's go bump it back and keep more of our starter and keep the ratio 1 to 1 to 1. We start with the 1 to 1 to 1, and then we slowly work our way up to discarding more, keeping less of our starter, and then increasing the feed. So because it's just not super active, I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. This is exactly what I talked about happened to me the first time I made a starter. And at that point, I had no idea if I was doing it right or not. But I knew that I lived in a cold climate and it could make sense. So I just thought, I'm going to stick with it, and ended up working out great. And it's still alive and incredibly healthy today. So I'll tear that. I've got my 60 grams of starter. I'm going to feed it 60 grams of water, and we're just going to see what happens in the morning. We're going to keep the hydration the same as we have been with the other starters as well. Just keep it 1 to 1. And if it gets more active, excellent. And if it doesn't, we're just going to decide then what to do. We do not need to worry. They're very resilient, and we're trying to be adaptable to what these microorganisms need to be healthy and thrive. So now I'm feeding the 60 grams of flour. And we're trying to learn to be intuitive here at how we choose to feed it. And we don't have to be stressed out about this. This is not a stressful thing at all. The cultures are very resilient, and it will come. If you don't have any activity right now, don't worry. I don't have any activity hardly at all in my regular sourdough starter yet. If you have absolutely no activity though, it's time to watch my video to find out what the 3 factors are that could be influencing it. And then you could see if you can change something else to have it improve a little quicker. But they will come back, and you can make mistakes and they will come back. So don't worry. Just go along with me and you'll learn to use your intuition so that you can figure out what to do if anything goes wrong at any point. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. I've made plenty over the years. I've forgotten about my bobs and in the fridge and had it come back to life. I've overfed it. I fed it the wrong thing. I've done so many mistakes in the past, and it always comes back. You just have to give it lots of love and attention, and it always comes back. So just stick with it. Don't give up, even if it's not super active and you're thinking you did something wrong. Don't give up. Stick with it. It will come. Even if you're thinking, I live in a hot environment, not a cold environment, and mine's not coming along, just give it time, because it really does take 2 weeks. But it's only 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks, you're going to have the most amazing starter that you're going to be able to use to make the most incredible bread and other baked goods that you're going to absolutely love. Okay, so I've got it all mixed up now, and I already see activity. There's a few bubbles forming as well, so it's definitely coming along. So I am going to make a hot water bottle tonight, like I mentioned, And I'm going to snuggle it all up in its nest, and we will come back and look in the morning and see how they look. Not to worry if you're thinking, oh my goodness, I cannot keep up with this schedule of feeding it twice a day. You do not have to do that. This is just 2 weeks or 15 days or so, 16 days. Like I said, that's about how long mine took because I'm in a cold climate. But if you're in a warm climate or you're able to keep your starter warm, it'll take even less time. So not to worry, you're only going to feed it twice a day for this next week. And after that, you'll just feed it when you want to bake your bread. So remember, you can bake with your discard now. I've put lots of ideas in the post below, so check it out and don't throw out your discard. So please share with me, how is your starter looking on day 7? Is it taking off yet? Whether you started with us on April 1st or not, I'd still love to see a picture. And have a wonderful sleep, and we'll see you in the morning to feed our starters again. Good night.